In case anyone's wondering.
Well, thank you all for joining us this afternoon. It's our pleasure to be up here to tell you a little bit about the journey that Kim and I have taken together through the last year. Actually, Kim, it's been a year, almost to this day. We were here at the Loyalty World Conference last year, and this idea of developing a loyalty initiative for the Kellogg's organization was just a little glimmer and idea. We actually had just been celebrating kicking off this initiative. And wow, we survived. We're here a year later to tell you about it. Our story is about a program that has just reached the marketplace, just went on shelf in July, and we're just getting out to our commercial rollout over the course of this fourth quarter. So without further ado, I think we'll walk you through our little story. If there is any questions, feel free to ask them during, or we'll reserve some time at the end of the presentation for those questions. Okay, great. We need this. Okay, good. All right, so we're here to tell you about how Kellogg's developed a loyalty initiative to help engage relationships with their individual consumers. For Kellogg's organization, this is game-changing for them. I think Kim can attest to that. This was something that would never even be thought about within their organization a couple of years ago. But before we go into exactly what we did and what we've accomplished, I think we first need to understand exactly why it was that Kellogg's felt compelled to pull together a loyalty program for their direct consumers. And there's lots of reasons why. I think there are three that actually rise to the top for us. The first is economic impact. The second is competitive pressures and market effectiveness. Just like any other CPG organization, Kellogg's felt the hit with the economic downturn. They had they were losing share. They were still the market leaders per se, but that wasn't enough. Their market share started to erode a little bit, so that was getting them a bit nervous. What we found out through lots of other polls, there's about 45 to 65, depending on the poll, consumers that have been surveyed that said they have made distinctive decisions to either buy down their product or choose private label brands. So this was definitely a threat for the Kellogg's organization. So what they needed to do instead to help in any of those economic downturns is to create some sort of program that helped them build a better relationship individually with their consumers, give them the data and insights in order to withstand any kind of economic squishiness when people are being more price sensitive. Competitive pressure, right? Everybody has them, and I don't think there's a stronger place than in the consumer packaged goods, especially in the food market. Lots of competitive pressures. One in particular, a lot of well-known other cereal competitors for Kellogg's out there has had a great program that's been in the marketplace now since 1996, Box Tops for Education. You're all probably very familiar with that. That's a cause-orientated program. Those of you who have school-age kids, you've probably sat there at the kitchen counter and cut out the little icons and brought them into your schools. It's huge. It's got great awareness. It's got a great reason for being there. It also has provided about $400 million, believe it or not, in that short time, back to schools. So it's a very compelling proposition. So faced with that, Kellogg says, what are we going to do? How do we create something that's going to be unique and different, and how are we going to create something that's going to rise us above what the competitive sector has out there?
And I think, too, just to jump in there, the competitors was one thing that we looked at, as well as our customers. So, in the retail landscape, I know Walgreens, we were up here earlier talking about that, and not only did our competitors, they had these huge scalable databases, P&G and General Mills, but so do our customers. So our retailers, our grocery channels, the Krogers and Walgreens, CVS, all of these other customers, and so they had the relationship with the consumer. Kellogg's and our brands didn't have the direct relationship and the transaction data that we needed, and so that was one of the other drivers behind the program.
Absolutely, good point, Kim. And then there's the marketing effectiveness. If you think about it, Kellogg's has, you know, the powerhouse of brands, the brands that you see at your table, in your cabinet day in, day out. It's the Kellogg's cereals, it's the Keeblers and the Eggos, all very well known, and all of them put a considerable amount of marketing dollars out into the marketplace to induce trial and purchase and repurchase. But what they were faced with lots of other CPGs are faced with too, here's Kellogg's, this large organization with this whole portfolio of different brands and products out there, but really no continuity play that allowed the consumer to really understand, oh, Keebler, that's Kellogg's too. Did I know that? Is it Eggo? Is it Morningstar Farms? There's all these wonderful brands that are out there, but nobody has that clear understanding as a consumer that these are all part of Kellogg. So they wanted to find a way to tie those things together to really truly build this family of brands and start creating that awareness out in the marketplace about what those brands are. In addition to that, with all of this disparate spending against the individual brands, you know, there's some inefficiencies with that. So could we establish kind of a baseline infrastructure and promotional system that would allow each one of those individual brands to leverage so that we could have more greater economics with the results of those campaigns and promotions and things that they today have out in the marketplace?
Yeah, and I think just the perspective on that, you know, Kellogg's spends about $1 billion a year in advertising, and up until pretty much 12 to 18 months ago, we had never gone to market under the Kellogg's brand. It had always been the Special K or Frosted Mini Wheats or Rice Krispies or Keebler or Cheez-It. We'd never put anything into market under the Kellogg's Red Script, is what we now call it, the Kellogg's Red Script brand. So our recent campaign to launch the Kellogg's Red Script brand was actually our Olympics sponsorship, with if any of you guys saw those spots. So we now have a strategic partnership in sponsoring the Olympics, but that was the first time we really went to market as Kellogg's, a brand, and then on top of that launched a big global campaign to relaunch the Kellogg's brand across all of our markets, so our core 5 key markets. So this has really been, that was one of the other drivers behind this, is how do we create a program that is across all of our brands and helps support going to market with that Kellogg's Red Script brand.
So you know the reasons why. Now, what exactly did Kellogg's do? So there's 2 things that they did almost simultaneous. The first was really getting an understanding of what their consumers want, to find out what kind of loyalty concept actually is going to resonate well with their general population, and furthermore with their highest performing segments within their consumer market. They went through a series, I think it was 3 different quantitative and qualitative surveys run by Aimia. What they found out through that series of events, so there was lots of different concepts that were tested. Should this be a points-only program? Should it just be based on a cause scheme? Should it just be promotional overlays? The clear winner there was a points plus sweepstakes type loyalty scheme. So there would be a standard earnings, a platform of always-on earning opportunity for that consumer across their entire portfolio of brands. But then overlaid to that is something that keeps it really exciting. I not only get a chance to earn this currency and be able to spend it the way I want to spend it in a rewards catalog, but I also have that opportunity to get something even more for my family, like sweepstakes and vacations and things of that nature. Another thing that they looked at is, well, the focus consumer here is your moms, your mothers with children in the household. They wanted to have a full portfolio of reward offering that would help them bring something back to that family, something that would allow them to give something back to not only for moms, but for their entire family. And then they want it easy, right? The consumers out there, they want it to, you know, I want to just be rewarded for my loyalty day in and day out and for what I already do. So the concept of doing a code impact loyalty scheme so that we can document their transaction behavior by the individual is what we came up with, and have it be something that allowed them to receive rewards at a baseline as well as these promotional overlays through sweepstakes. Oops. We're missing a slide. Okay. Well, good. We're missing a slide, but I'll keep going there. Another thing that Kellogg's did simultaneous to understanding the data and insights was to start creating a robust database full of consumers. So through their CRM initiatives, they went out on a full-blown acquisition. So in the course of a year, they took a database that started with about 250,000 consumers, and they built it out to about 15 million consumers. Because they knew going into this place of loyalty, they wanted enough of that consumer to tap into to get them engaged in this program. And they didn't just do that. They also started creating this reciprocal arrangement out of the gate by offering those consumers access to special coupons, to product introductions, to recipes and other things in exchange for the relationship. So during that course of a year, not only did they build that acquisition database so they could actually tap into that quite quickly once they launched the loyalty scheme and added that transactional layer into it, but they also started understanding that consumer. So through their series of weekly emails, and I think they've identified 11 different business segments, and they run emails on a weekly basis with 40 different versions that are tailor-made just to that specific audience, based on either the response to survey information through the registration, through their CRM program, or through what they've responded to in the past. All right. So that's what they did simultaneous. Then it was the tricky part. I think there's a lot of skeptics out there that think, okay, a CPG program, loyalty program, how is that actually going to work? How do you make something that's based on a $3 box of cereal sustainable over time? How do you make it interesting for that individual consumer? What kind of payout and reward could you possibly get out of it? So they did their homework. They did the math, basically, Kellogg's did, to ensure that they could prove a positive ROI. They needed to ensure that they could get significant amount of lift among their engaged members. We needed to offset the cost of the actual rewards by developing some strategic partnerships with individual consumers who wanted access to that mom and her household and give them, in exchange, free items in the catalog, those sweepstakes for trips to Hawaii and Mexico or whatever the case may be. They also wanted to create that marketing effectiveness that I mentioned before by developing this platform that would allow each one of those individual brands to help fuel and offset the costs for the program as well. So positive ROI on that side. How do we balance that with what the consumer needs? She wants that value plus, and we talked about this a little bit before. She wants earnings on all the products. We need to make sure that that happened. Attainability, right? It's a very important thing. We know that consumers get really bored or frustrated more so if they can't accumulate enough quickly enough in order to redeem for something that's of value to them. So we needed to make sure that in our reward scheme that we had that balance of attainable as well as those things that are more of the larger prize for those long-term folks that want to commit to something and get something more, in more of a grand scale. They wanted ease of entry through a variety of channels, and at the end of the day, she wants this reciprocal relationship to feel that she is truly valued, that she's getting more because she's continuing to be a loyal consumer to the Kellogg's brand. Any other thoughts?
No, I think that was it. I mean, I think Michelle kind of mentioned it. I mean, CPG, we don't have access to the kind of data. So I came from the credit card and satellite TV world, and I'm actually a statistician, I guess, apparently, which is a good thing these days. But so I came from the world of data, and from when I moved to the advertising agency and then over to Kellogg's, I'm actually jealous of many of you because you guys actually have access to transaction data and what people are purchasing and what they're buying and things like that. So that's really the biggest struggle for us, being in the direct marketing world for consumer packaged goods. You know, what kind of information do we have? And so for us, the information that we have is actually primarily digital. So it's not as much, point of sale or offline data. It's really this digital world has now given us all this engagement data, social interactions and email click-throughs and coupon prints and redemptions and all those kind of things. So that's really our core data set is based on digital. And then we're trying to supplement that and enhance that with whatever POS data we can get. So it's just a little bit of a different dynamic and a shift from some of the other industries and loyalty in different industries. So.
Yeah. And the part that I failed to say here on developing this economic model and the business case to show that it could be something that's sustainable over time. So far, so good. We're tracking, we're on track for success for that future and that positive ROI. So what did they create here? The whole idea here, by no surprise based on what we've told you, is Kellogg's Family Rewards. And here's the foundational premise for those moms. Mom's always trying to find ways to make each day more fun, rewarding for her and her family. With Kellogg's Family Rewards program, she can get more out of something she's already doing and enjoy tangible rewards for items such as household merchandise, coupons, gift cards, music, movies, and a chance to win great prizes. So with that, we're going to show you a little video to sum it all up.
All right, so Michelle talked a little bit about why we did this, and I'm just going to walk through a little bit of kind of some of the core components of the program and some of our objectives for how we launched it and then how we're going to build it over the next year or two. Just this slide. So in terms of the assets available for launch, so as I kind of mentioned, we already spend a lot of money in advertising. For us, we didn't do a big mass media campaign around Kellogg's Family Rewards because for us, really, it's about how are we supporting all of our brands, and then how are our brands and what they're doing, how does that support Kellogg's Family Rewards as a core platform to what it's kind of an add-on to their existing integrated experience plans that they create. So as Michelle mentioned, we did build the database from 200,000 people in 2010 to 15 million, so we're actually a little bit, 15.5 million right now, consumers that are opted in to hear from Kellogg's across all of our brands. So again, it had always historically been, Special K had a database and Rice Krispies had a database, but now we have a Kellogg's database we can communicate across brands. Our packaging is a core vehicle for us. As I mentioned, we don't have kind of point of sale, so anytime, this was really all about rewarding our most loyal consumers who are already purchasing our product, so packaging has been critical for us. And we've gotten great buy-in from our business units. We have an always-on placement on all of our cereal packs, and we've got the logo on the front of all of our packages as we're rolling out, so a lot of support there for packaging. We do have Facebook communities. We have, obviously, again, all of our brand communities. We didn't launch a Kellogg's Family Rewards specific Facebook community. We really are just leveraging our brand communities to talk about the special offers and promotions that we have going on. And then all of our brand websites. So again, a lot of investment that we had. There was a huge shift at Kellogg's to shift from traditional spend, advertising spend, the paid, owned, earned model. We went from paid media to owned and earned media about 3 or 4 years ago, a big shift to digital, more digital, and so we've invested a lot in our websites. We invest a lot in driving people to our websites, our brand websites, so trying to leverage those as much as possible to get people participating and aware of the program. Tag all of our FSIs. We're currently starting to tag all of our print ads as well, which is great. We love that kind of support from the business units. And then we do have a media campaign, just digital media right now that's running, which is online banners, search, and display, things like that. In terms of the offers and promotions, the video kind of mentioned this, but one of the things that we think is very cool about the program is that, obviously we did a lot of talk about codes on pack. Codes on pack is obviously can be fairly labor intensive. I'm a mom of kids, so I'm not probably the one that's gonna go in and enter the codes. My kids probably will, so I don't have as much time, but the nice part was we needed to kind of overcome that hurdle. How do we overcome the hurdle of getting consumers to actually look in the package, enter that 16-digit code on the package to get something? And so in order to do that, there's an evergreen sweepstakes, so any code entered at any time is an entry into our $200 in free groceries. So that's on top of what you can redeem in the catalog and all the other prizes that you can get, but for every code entered, you're entered into a daily sweepstakes for $200, and we now have all the winners listed on the website, so we think that's kind of cool, and we've gotten a lot of people really excited on the blogs and things like that about that part of the program.
A lot of positive press on the blogs. I think one I was reading just the other day, it was pretty compelling because this woman was talking about how she's a stay-at-home mom, you talk about economic downturn, her husband had just been laid off, and hey, lo and behold, through Kellogg's Family Rewards, she just won $2 in free groceries, so it made her day already, which makes our day that it's all worth it. We were able to connect with that individual mom and do something
really nice.
special for her.
It was great. And then targeted offers. So we have, as Michelle kind of mentioned, our database, we have all the engagement data that we use to target the offers. So we have bonus segments and things like that. It's the first website that we've launched at Kellogg's that's actually customized to the individual. So it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal when you think about things like Amazon's always, recommendations for you or things like that. But in the consumer packaged goods world, it's a pretty big deal that you go in and log on, and that experience is solely based on segmentation data and bonus offers and things like that. So it's highly targeted to the individual post login, which we're really excited about. Partner sweepstakes and all the different variety. We have about 100 items in the catalog today. Currently trying to, really just continue to add on as many rewards. Coupons was one of the things that was mentioned. It tested the best with consumers. So about 30% of our rewards are coupons for money back off of our products, which is great. Consumers love it, and for us, it's fairly easy to execute because we can do print-at-home coupons.
And I think the call out there is these are exclusive coupons. These are of a greater value than they can get anywhere else. So it's exclusive for our members who want to redeem their points for those coupons.
Exactly. And then the brand and sales promotions, just to talk about this a little bit, our goal is really, again, Michelle talked a little, we were printing codes on probably about 200 or 300 million packages a year anyway, before we ever did this program. And so for us, it was about, okay, we do this program, how can we support those programs that they're already planning on doing? So we have Disney partnerships and things like that. And then how can we support the sales folks? So we've really started to position this internally to our business units and our sales folks as we have the codes on every pack, which they can leverage for different spend and get offers, but we also have this website and this platform, and so we do a lot of promotional overlay campaigns. So for example, one of the things that is in market now is that for every code entered on any package at Walmart, you get, if you enter 2 codes on any of those specially marked packages, you get a $5 coupon at scholastic.com. So it's kind of an enhanced offer, and then they still also get all of the Kellogg's Family Rewards points as well. So that's been a big priority for us and will continue to be, is how do we support the rest of the organization with this program? It isn't just about consumers getting rewards, it's how do we support the organization and make it more efficient to run their marketing programs. And then in terms of convenience, we did launch a Facebook app, which you can register, enter codes via Facebook, check your point balance. We also have a mobile website. We obviously know moms are incredibly engaged in mobile technology, 20% more likely to engage via mobile than general population. So that was a really big, important factor for us. There's the ability to text in your codes. So we're continuing to enhance as much as we can the ease of entry for these members. And then just in terms of technology, this is an eye chart, but as any of you guys work with the IT folks, this was probably one of the biggest challenges, if not the biggest challenge about executing a program like this, is all the infrastructure that goes behind it. We had a huge project that Kellogg's undertook where we basically changed the back-end infrastructure of all of our websites about 2 years ago, and so we've got a managed service provider, database marketing provider, and then all of the, as I mentioned, to do dynamic content on the website is just a feat in itself, and so we've got all these variety of modules and things that we use, as well as we work with 25 plus packaging suppliers, so we had to get the unique codes on packages across 25 suppliers, variety of formats, as you guys can imagine. We've got snacks packages, cereal packages, a lot of different things. So it's a feat in itself just to get the codes on the pack as well. So lots of infrastructure and technology. I'm very nice to the IT people whenever I can be. And then in terms of the results, so we have about 600,000 members, a little over 600,000 members as of this morning.
That's in 4 months, so I think that's a pretty good feat.
We're excited about it.
We're excited about it.
We'll have 1.5 million by the end of the year. We have an 80% conversion rate, so one thing that's important for us is that since we don't have the point of sale data all the time, we've made a really big point to make sure that we capture full demographic information on all consumers. So the 15 million that we mentioned in our database, we have full demographics on them, so name, address, city, state, zip, so we're able to do targeted offers all the way, as well as a survey that is about 6 to 8 questions after that. So we get an 80% conversion rate from the people that land on that registration page all the way through. So we're really proud of that. We're excited about that. 70% of the people enrolled in the program have entered a code. Others are printing coupons because we do offer coupons on the site as well. We're now the highest traffic site of any Kellogg's website, which we're excited about as well, again, especially relative to the spend that we're investing here versus what some of the brands are spending on their websites. Over 50% open rate on our emails. We did an e-panel where we actually already surveyed some of the people in the program, and over 30% have already recommended the program to friends and family, so we're really excited about that. Bonus codes, you go across the blogs, and they're all kind of out there, so we know people are getting excited about that. We've launched on over 800 SKUs, and next year we will have 2.5. So we have about 3 billion packages that we print a year. So to get the codes on 3 billion packages, and we'll be on about 2.8 billion next year. We're on about 30 and 40% of packages today. So we're feeling pretty good about where we are with the rollout, but by the end of the year we will have pretty much full distribution across our entire portfolio. And then for ROI, we'll be measuring that through both our e-panels as well as we do a match to the Nielsen panel to understand what the pre versus post-purchase behavior is of our members. And we have handouts. We have free codes for everyone. So they're going to give you basically their cards, and they all have a code on them. So that code will enter you into the daily sweeps. You can go online.
So we hope you guys join the family, Kellogg's Family Rewards. So, and enjoy the program.
That's it.
And that's it. So questions?
Great question. So we have a module. We call it the Common Module on our sites, and we have Kellogg coupons on there. We also have other coupons on there. So we work with Velasas or Coupons Inc. or News America. They're one of the three biggest. We'll work with one of them, and they have a partner network. So we do offer partner coupons on our sites. Yep.
But the ones exclusively for redemption are all Kellogg's products.
That's correct. Yeah. We are offering discounts for some of our partners. So a 25% discount off of something else. We'll do that.
So I'm kind of curious. I know it's early days, but in terms of some of the insights that you might expect to see from the data once you get a good look at it. Like I think about the Kellogg's products that are in our house right now. Right, we have a 5-year-old. And so we got the Cheez-Its in there. We got the Raisin Bran, which I like. We've got the Frosted Flakes, which the boy likes, right? So it would seem like once consumers start making this connection, and you guys start making the connection, you might uncover some personas and behavior that maybe you didn't even expect. So, I mean, do you anticipate that kind of thing happening?
Absolutely.
We're hoping we see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that right now we have predictive models. So we basically surveyed a subset of our database, and we predict what we think they're purchasing, but this is actually going to tell us what they are purchasing. So yeah, we're very excited about how the segmentation of the entire database is going to change. I think the other thing to think about is, and this is what leadership has gotten pretty excited and obviously very, very much behind this, or else we wouldn't be doing it, but it also helps in situations where we have things like potentially, if we were to have a recall, hypothetically, we can go into the database and we can figure out for that brand who's purchasing the product, and we can go target them with offers and make sure we retain them in the franchise. So that's also been a very big selling point for us, is we actually now have the ability to do that, where typically Kellogg's would just throw a coupon into the marketplace or throw it into a certain region. We actually have the ability to have that one-to-one, interaction with those consumers that we know are purchasing our product. So the brands are getting excited about that as an asset for them.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, any other questions? Looks like we have one in the back here.
Yes, hello, and thanks for your presentation. Just a question about the accrual of points and what the consumer is supposed to take in terms of steps towards getting that purchase, if you will, recognized, from your system. Yeah,
sure. So right now our funding rate is basically what the funding rate is typical across any consumer packaged goods. But for a box of cereal, it's a $3 box of cereal. The perceived value of that code is typically going to be about 10 cents. So you spend $3, you get about 10 cents in perceived value of rewards. So we have gotten a lot, and I have a lot of the salespeople ask me this question every single time I present to them, is how am I going to go to my buyer and explain to them that, it's going to take 60 codes to get a $1.50 off coupon, so it does. It takes a while, and but there's two things that I say to them. One is it's the same model that any consumer packaged goods company has. Our relative spend in our loyalty program is so low relative to, let's say, our advertising or TV spend. So it's not that big of a hurdle. The other thing is really this idea of the promotional and brand overlays and the shopper overlays that we're doing. So where it becomes really compelling for consumers, and we saw this even when we launched with the Walmart program and the blogs and all the comments that we saw and feedback we got from consumers, was people were getting really excited about the fact that they could get a $5 book or an instant win. We're doing something for Special K that's coming up that we're really excited about, where 5 codes equals something special, but they also get the 10 cents for every single one of those boxes of cereal. So right now the value proposition is that, but I think the fact that we have these overlays is really going to make it more powerful and palatable for our sales folks and for consumers, frankly. So.
Time for one more, if we have one? Okay, well, enjoy your entry into the program, and we'll look forward to hearing more about it next year.
Great. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.